Early Access gets a big new feature, Tesla likes it some cheetahs, and the app brings us some new pertinent information. This is Tesla Tidbits episode number 587, recorded for April 17th, 2020. This show is sponsored by my supporter Richard. If you're in the market for a new Tesla, please consider using his referral code. Ask your salesperson to use code Richard174 or go direct to the web link ts.la/Richard174 and pick up a 1,000-mile supercharging credit for your new vehicle. We glide into the weekend with easily some of the biggest Tesla news this year. Twitter user and show follower Mike Larry posted in the wee hours of Thursday morning that stoplight and stop sign autopilot actions have been rolled out to early access program participants. Mike posted a screen capture of an email he'd received detailing the use of the feature. The message included what they referred to as helpful hints in the title section detailing them, but were really very strongly worded warnings about how the feature behaves. Among these helpful hints, the first one sticks out like a sore thumb. Quote, "This feature will stop at all traffic lights, including green, blinking yellow, and off lights. To proceed through an intersection, pull the autopilot stalk or briefly press the accelerator pedal to confirm that it is safe to proceed." End quote. So it is extremely clear here that while Tesla feels the feature is ready for use, it's not ready for full use, so to speak. And this is a great strategy. Here, you're erring on the side of caution and safety to allow users to use one of the most anticipated pieces of the full self-driving suite. This approach does so many things for Tesla. First, it ensures safety first by making the human confirm that the intersection is clear for use. Second, as a result of the first one, it makes it absolutely impossible to use without paying attention to the road. There's going to be nobody asleep at the wheel on city streets, that's for sure. Third, Tesla would get absolute feedback on every action of the system, and I'd bet a Chris Benjamin that the Autopilot team receives notification and accompanying video of each and every time the human does not behave how Autopilot expected. While being the most forceful warning, it wasn't the only one. It warned owners that the feature would not make turns for them yet, nor would the release improve Autopilot performance on very curvy roads. Also interestingly, the feature works with only TAC enabled as well, which I found rather odd. This is an FSD feature. I would personally expect it to only work if Autopilot was engaged. The message finished off detailing how to enable the feature as it ships disabled. First, a navigation update is also available, and that must be installed for the feature to work. This is version NA-2020.12-11866. I know, that was a mouthful. Second, you need to turn on the feature in the car settings. It can be found with the other autopilot settings. I would expect this feature to be in early access for a fair while, despite Elon stating earlier this month that he hoped it would release in a few weeks. I personally would say that this is something that needs a bit more testing with the early access folks than that. We'll see if we get Elon time on this or not. In the meantime, check out the couple of example videos linked in the description from Tesla owners of Massachusetts and Teslater. The future is nearly here, folks. It's nearly here. Next up, a touch older story, but still very relevant, coming from Tasmanian. Those that own Performance Model S or Model X may be aware of the launch mode that can be entered that attempts to separate your mind from consciousness when used. This knocks a couple more ticks off the clock on the vehicle's 0 to 60, and has a specific method to be enabled. Currently, while suspension is set to the lowest setting with ludicrous acceleration enabled, you press the brake all the way to the floor, and I mean all the way to the floor, and hold it. Press the accelerator to the floor and release it when it says launch mode is enabled. Then floor the accelerator to load power against the brakes, and then release the brake when ready to launch. This update not only simplifies this process greatly, but also drops the front suspension down for a better launch. Here's your new process. Again, with the car on the lowest suspension setting and ludicrous mode acceleration enabled, only requires the driver to mash the brake to the floor, then hit the accelerator. That will trigger the launch mode message and begin the loading of the power against the brakes, while simultaneously dropping the front end suspension even lower, giving the car what is being referred to as a cheetah-like stance. According to Brooks from Drag Times, it does indeed make a difference in the speed. Check out his video of all the geeky details of the difference that the update made. It should be noted that this new feature applies only to Raven drivetrains, so the older performance models should not expect to see this. Lastly this week, just a little PSA for everyone about a new bit of information contained in your Tesla account. If you've been fortunate enough to have someone use your referral code, or use someone's referral code, this credits you with free supercharging miles on your account for those folks that have to pay for the supercharger network. Now, you may or may not have known that these miles expire after a certain period of time, but thanks to a Twitter user that goes by the name of White Lightning, at TeslaPHX is their handle, now we know how to find exactly when these miles expire. Simply open your Tesla app and open your loop box, which is in the top right corner of your app. If you have any miles credited to your account, they'll appear here along with when they expire. So plan your road trips accordingly to take advantage of all the free juice you've earned. That'll do it for this week. Thanks to all my patrons supporting the show at patreon.com/Tesla Tidbits. And as always, a special shout out to all the super patrons supporting the show at the $10 plus level. They are Ryan Scarborough, Lee Sweet, William Henry Crew III, Dorian Steve Guberman, Ralph and Cheryl Waterhouse, Megawatt Photovoltaic Development, Todd Sullivan, Mitch Long, Zortec LED Canada, Morven Ogg, Raymond and Deborah Malkowitz, T Sport Line, Vicky Kirk, Ricky Johnston, Nathan Garza, Ed Patterman, Sunil Joseph, and Joy Rodriguez. If you have feedback for me, the best way to be heard is to tweet at Tesla Tidbits and use the hashtag AskTeslaTidbits if you'd like your question to be considered for the show. Until next time, keep it charged and hit the road.